что тебя берут, меня берут, блин, ну это что ты? Ну пока развлекайся, смотри, знаешь, что смотри. Так всегда, что ли? Эту штучку на самом деле ходить. Да, это не конечно, не беси. Не беси меня лучше, не беси.
Берешь кредит в Совкомбанке, бери. Платишь везде халовой, и Совкомбанк все проценты по кредиту
возвращай.
Не проценты, то есть печенье. Вот, спасибо.
Кредит с возвратом всех процентов от Совкомбанка.
Всем привет! Я вместо блогер. Сегодня я расскажу, почему вам пора занять мое место и завести видеоблог в Яндекс.Дзене. В Дзене есть видео! Во-первых, каждый день Дзеном пользуются 19 миллионов человек. Сколько? И чем они только не интересуются. Так что сейчас как раз есть место для самых разных видео. Например, о тренировках. О новых гаджетах. Или о том, как выровнять цвет лица. Классно, что видео не надо продвигать. Алгоритмы Дзена сами приведут вам аудиторию. А еще в Дзене можно заработать на своем контенте. На вашем месте я бы давно был на моем месте. Переходите по ссылке и скорее заводите свой видеоблог в Дзене.
Recovery during the summer months with outdoor dining. But now, 9 months in, the average restaurant is still seeing about a 35% loss from last year every day. That's according to Rally for Restaurants data. Employment at food services and drinking places is down 17% from February, more than 2 million people.
I've worked through 9/11, I've worked through 2008. I never saw what happened to us in our industry on March 17th, where we were asked to close with about 24 hours notice.
Bobby Stuckey is the co-founder of Frasca Hospitality, overseeing 4 restaurants in Colorado. He furloughed all 225 employees back in March. The team was hopeful during the gradual reopenings, but now are shut down again.
Our biggest winner this year is down 52% over last year. Some restaurants, because of the footprint and how it worked with restrictions, is down 60%.
These restaurant owners are looking to lawmakers for help.
And there is a responsibility as leaders. And in this situation, leadership needs to help take care of this major sector, 10% of the American workforce. And that's what's frustrating.
We really need that the Restaurant Acts to be passed. We need, or second best, PPP, to be able to weather the next 6 to 12 weeks without indoor dining.
The Independent Restaurant Coalition is lobbying to save the small restaurants and bars affected by COVID-19 by way of the Restaurants Act. The bipartisan bill proposes a $120 billion grant program focused on independent operators, especially women and minority-owned businesses. The grant would cover a wide range of expenses: supplies, payroll, rent, and PPE for employees. The key word here is grant, instead of another round of loans.
Why would a grant be more helpful to restaurant owners than loans?
Well, the restaurant business, it works on very, very small margins. To make these businesses take on loans to survive this 18 months is punitive. That's not going to help the survival rate.
While the bill has bipartisan support and there's been agreement the restaurant industry is critical, it's unlikely to pass unless it's part of a broader deal. The IRC warns that without aid, 85% of independent restaurants could close permanently.
Can your businesses, can your restaurants survive without any form of federal aid?
No way. There's just no way that that's tenable. And it's not.
Попробуйте онлайн-календари проектов. В отличие от обычных, календари Райк связаны с проектами и задачами. Они всегда отражают актуальные планы и графики. Планируйте работу и будьте в курсе дел. Попробуйте календарь Райк бесплатно.
Если вы когда-нибудь пробовали волевым усилием преодолеть свою лень, то знаете, насколько это сложно. Когда пациенты говорят...
Now, there's a question on many top security officials' minds. When he leaves office, can President Trump be trusted with America's national security secrets? NBC News national security correspondent Ken Delanian joins us now with some new perspective regarding this question. Hey, Ken, good morning. So, former U.S. presidents are entitled to classified briefings, but what are intelligence officials telling you about whether they think President Trump should get access to any of these national secrets once he leaves office?
Good morning, Savannah. Well, a cross-section of national security experts told me that they don't believe that Donald Trump can be trusted with America's secrets, and they don't think that he should be afforded these intelligence briefings after he departs. As you said, American presidents typically have gotten classified briefings, often when they are poised to travel overseas, or sometimes when the current president wants to consult them about a national security issue. But one of the biggest concerns being raised about Donald Trump is that he's got potential or actual business deals in adversary countries like Russia. There's a real fear that Trump could try to monetize these secrets. Jack Goldsmith, a top official in the Bush administration, told me that he's worried that some foreign government will put Trump on retainer, knowing that he will be indiscreet about secrets. So he said it's impossible to imagine that about any other.
But Ken, also, how does Trump's past handling of secrets play into this?
So that's the other issue, Savannah. Even if Trump wouldn't go so far as to sell secrets, he has a track record of being incredibly careless with classified information. There's that famous episode in 2017 when he disclosed highly sensitive terrorism intelligence to the Russian foreign minister in the Oval Office. But then there was the time that he tweeted what experts said. Famous episode in 2017 when he disclosed highly sensitive terrorism intelligence to the Russian foreign minister in the Oval Office. But then there was the time that he tweeted what experts said was a top secret satellite photo of an Iranian nuclear installation. He told the Philippines president about the secret location of American subs. And even this past year, he revealed to journalist Bob Woodward what he called a secret, undisclosed nuclear capability that Russia and China did not know about, that the Defense Department later confirmed was real, and they were shocked that he talked about it. So even if Donald Trump wouldn't sell secrets, he has a track record of not being able to keep them, and that's why my sources say he should not be given any further access to them.
Now, Ken, we had said that former presidents are entitled to this information, but really it's a courtesy and with the permission of the current president. So how will the Biden administration handle this?
So the Biden team did not comment for this story, but you're absolutely right. There's no law that says former presidents get this information. It's entirely up to the current president. And some of my sources say that Trump may not even ask for these briefings. He's shown no patience for receiving his intelligence briefing as president. He doesn't have much love for the CIA or other intelligence agencies. So it may not be an issue. But the bottom line here is that if presidents were granted a security clearance, they're not, because they're entitled to this information. But if they were, Donald Trump couldn't pass the background check. That's what my sources are saying. So he should not be granted access to the nation's secrets going forward, Savannah.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking.
Donald Trump is famous for being quick with an insult.
He's going to learn how to remember.
He's insulted reporters.
I'm the president and you're fake news.
Senators.
This Elizabeth Warren, I call her goofy. Crying Chuck Schumer, crying Chuck. Bunch of losers.
And even voters to their face.
How stupid are the people of Iowa?
But there's one group he's been strangely reluctant to insult. White supremacists.
The moment that's jolted the Republican Party, Trump's response to receiving the support of former Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard David Duke.
I don't know, honestly, I don't know David Duke. I don't believe I've ever met him. I'm pretty sure I didn't meet him, and I just don't know anything about him.
That's right. Donald Trump launched his 2016 campaign by going full Mariah on David Duke.
I don't know her.
Oh, please. David Duke is the Betty White of racism. He's been in the game forever, and everyone knows who he is. Saying you hate David Duke is literally the easiest thing in the world. Even his plastic surgeon hates him. Even his plastic surgeon hates him. Once Trump took office, racists everywhere rejoiced. Hate crime skyrocketed, and white supremacists rallied around Trump as their new icon.
Hail Trump! Hail our people!
I mean, who wouldn't look at this guy and see master race? Then, in August 2017, white supremacists threw themselves a terror parade in Charlottesville, Virginia that ended in the murder of an anti-fascist counter-protester. And Donald Trump, once again, found it hard to condemn the bad guys.
I think there's blame on both sides. You had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
That's right. In a fight between racists and anti-racists, Trump said there were very fine people on both sides. Amazing. It's like donating to Kanye's presidential campaign and Taylor Swift's. Sometimes, Trump doesn't even wait to be asked about white supremacists. He just finds them himself on Twitter, retweeting accounts like White Genocide TM. Good thing they trademarked that. Could have been stolen by some men's hair dye. This summer, Trump even retweeted a video of his supporters yelling, "White power."
White power!
It's the retweets that get you in trouble.
You don't get a bigger honor from the president than that. It goes retweet, pardon, Medal of Freedom. But no matter how much Trump makes it clear that he's on the same page with white supremacists, people keep giving him the chance just one more time to finally denounce them once and for all.
But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists?
Sure,
are you
I'm willing
prepared to
do
specifically
that, but
do it? Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. You want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name.
supremacists and
What would
white
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
Okay, stand back and stand by. That's the worst way to ever condemn something. It's like breaking up with
piano coaching program. I mentioned in many of my articles and video tutorials that one of the most fundamental method books.
хочу.
Пока жду следующего пациента, хочу проанонсировать свой график.
Это еще что?
Доброе утро. Мне вот совсем уже не нравится такая погода, когда с утра не хочется вылазить из кровати. Доброе утро. Мне вот
Та-да!
Давайте как будто выбивание долгов за деньги дорого. Ручки собраны. Прямые бьем.
Требуют наши сердца.
Ladies, it's time to go. We headed to the bar, baby, don't be nervous. No shoes, no shirt, and I still get service. Wow. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body.
Ну, не музыкант, просто этот.
Фут фристайло. Фут фристайло. Вака макаудан дөттім тари дуридам.
Сейчас я продемонстрирую на живом бой, как он выглядит. Поехали. А я держу потом.
Время свое тратишь. Какая из них свободная пресса? Я просто так, я не знаю. Вообще пишет как бы, да. Ну, как всяких.
Книгу.
Жалобная книга слушает.
Вот это да.
Цифровые технологии приветствуют вас. На что жалуетесь?
Да, я уж и не знаю, жаловаться или радоваться такому прогрессу и знакомству.
Введите ваш СНИЛС.
Куда ввести-то? Можно контакт ваш?
Можно. После вестей. Узнаете все об электронных жалобных книгах.
Я вспомнил, на что жаловался.
После вестей. Я...
Первая встреча с акулой произошла, когда мне было всего лишь 6 лет. И она была на нижней палубе, а я-то был над этой палубой и смотрел вниз. Матрос один подошел, ткнул ее в глаз пальцем, и в этот момент она просто ему отхватила руку. Напугало это меня абсолютно на всю жизнь. Я боюсь акул. И в отличие от рака, это не лечится.
Получите полное представление о проектах в реальном времени. Создавайте проекты в один клик. Просматривайте данные по нескольким проектам, мгновенно узнавайте новости, создавайте зависимости и используйте имейлы при планировании. Это диаграммы Ганта в Райк. Планируйте работу и будьте...
Dear fellow scholars, this is 2-minute papers with Károly Zsolnai Fehér. It is time for a position paper. This paper does not have the usual visual fireworks that you see in many...
Теперь рак уже реально лечится, да? Просто очень дорого, наверное.
of these videos. However, it addresses the cornerstone of scientific publication, which is none other than peer review. When a research group is done with a project, they don't just write up the results and chuck the paper into a repository, but instead, they submit it to a scientific venue, for instance, a journal or a conference. Then the venue finds several other researchers who are willing to go through the work with a fine-tooth comb. In the case of double-blind review, results are indeed significant, novel, credible, and reproducible. If the venue is really good, this process is very tough and thorough, and this process becomes the scientific version of beating the heck out of someone, but in a constructive manner. If the work is able to withstand serious criticism and ticks the required boxes, it can proceed to get published at this venue. Otherwise, it is rejected. So what we heard so far is that the research work is being reviewed. However, scientists at the Google AI lab issue that the reviewers themselves should also be reviewed. The required boxes, it can proceed to getting reviewed. However, scientists at the Google AI lab raised the issue that the reviewers themselves should also consider the fact that all scientists that the reviewers themselves should also be reviewed. Consider the fact that all scientists are expected to spend a certain percentage of their time to serve all scientists are reviewers themselves should also be reviewed. are expected to spend a certain percentage of their time to serve the greater good. For instance, throughout my certain percentage of their time to serve the greater good. For instance, throughout my PhD studies, I have reviewed over 30 papers and I am not even done yet. These paper reviews take place without compensation. Let's call this issue number 1 for now. Issue number 2 is the explosive growth of the number of submissions over time at the most prestigious machine learning and computer vision conferences. Have a look here. It is of utmost importance that we create a review system that is as fair as possible. After all, thousands of hours spent on research projects are at stake. Add these two issues together and we get a system where the average quality of the reviews will almost certainly decrease over time. Quoting the authors, we believe the key issue is certain. Thousands of hours spent on research projects are at stake. Add these two issues together and we get a system where the average quality of the reviews will almost certainly decrease over time. Quoting the authors, we believe the key issues here are structural. Reviewers donate their valuable time and expertise anonymously as a service to the community with no compensation or attribution, are increasingly taxed by a rapidly increasing number of submissions, and are held to no enforced standards. In 2-Minute Papers episode number 84, so more than 200 episodes ago, we discussed the new RIPS experiment. Leave a comment if you've been around back then and you enjoyed 2-minute papers before it was cool. But don't worry if this is not the case, this was long ago, so here's a short summary. A large number of papers were secretly disseminated to multiple committees who would review it without knowing about each other, and we would have a look whether they would accept or reject the same papers. Re-review papers and see if the results are the same, if you will. If we use sophisticated mathematics to create new scientific methods, why not use mathematics to evaluate our own processes? So, after doing that, it was found that at a given prescribed acceptance ratio, there was a disagreement for 57% of the papers. So, is this number good or bad? Let's imagine a completely hypothetical committee that has no idea what they are doing, and as a review, they basically toss up a coin and accept or reject the paper based on the result of the coin toss. Let's call them the coin flip committee. The calculations conclude that the coin flip committee would have a disagreement ratio of about 77%. So, experts, 57% disagreement, coin flip committee, 77% disagreement. And now, to answer whether this is good or bad, this is hardly something to be proud of. The consistency of expert reviewers is significantly closer to a coin flip than to a hypothetical perfect review process. If that is to the ones used in public schools, remedy number 2. Reviewers should be incentivized and rewarded for their work. The authors argue that a professional service should be worthy of professional compensation. Now, of course, this sounds great, but this also requires money. Where should the funds come from? The paper discusses several options. For instance, this could be funded through sponsorships or asking for a reasonable fee when submitting a paper for peer review, and introducing a new fee structure for science conferences. This is a short, 5-page paper that is easily readable for everyone, raises excellent points for a very important problem, so needless to say, I highly recommend that you give it a read. As always, the link is in the video description. I hope this video will help raising more awareness to this problem. If we are to create a fair system for evaluating research papers, we better get this right. Thanks for watching and for your generous support, and I'll see you next time.
Hello and welcome. I'm Graham Fitch and I am the author of Practicing the Piano blog and the co-founder of the online academy, which is a series of resources, a library of resources for pianists, piano teachers. And this is our practicing clinic, which is a monthly endeavor here. John, welcome. Lisa, and if you would just, as you come in, just tell me where you're watching from. And you know, there's all these things that you can do with hearts and flowers and you know, like buttons and all of that. Please do that. Edward, welcome. What I've got here is a series of questions that the subscribers to the Online Academy have sent in, and I'm going to attempt to, well, at least address them, if not completely answer them. So, practice. The thing with piano playing is that often people think, oh, I have a problem with my technique. And so they think everything is related to technique. Well, obviously we can't play the piano if we don't have technique. But a lot of the time I have noticed that people say, oh, I've got a technical problem with something, when they really mean they haven't quite understood what the music is doing, either what the music means artistically, or the patterns that the music has.
Sberbank предлагает новогодний кредит со снижаемой ставкой.
That I had a chap come for a few lessons who was doing his grade 8 exam, the ABRSM grade 8 exam, and he was having problems with his melodic minor scales on black keys, and he said, I have a real technical problem with them, I can't manage them. So I asked him to play one, and sure enough, it was all over the place, but I didn't detect that it was specifically a technical problem. What I noticed was that he didn't really know the pattern of notes. So I asked him if he would just play the scale with one finger, and he couldn't, meaning he didn't understand the design. So his homework for that week was to bring all the melodic minor scales back with one finger, literally, and then we could work on any technical problems that ensue.